Kafinta. President Bola Ahmad Tinubu has urged havers nationwide to cease open grazing and surrender all unlicensed weapons while transitioning to modern ranching system to resolve the long-standing farmer-haver conflicts that have been plagued the country. A statement released by the presidential villa said the federal government is focusing on sustainable solutions to conflicts between herders and farming communities, conflicts that have been caused unrest in the northern and central state. The call comes amid increasing cases of student kidnappings in Niger, Kebbi and other parts of the country within the past week, while farmers-haver clashes in the north-central region have resulted in multiple deaths in recent months. The president also urged Havers Association to take this opportunity to end open grazing and hand over illegal weapons. Furthermore, he called on mosques and churches, particularly in high-risk areas, to cooperate with security agencies to ensure protecting during worship and gatherings. The statement added that the establishment of the Ministry of Livestock is among the government's steps to build a new system. The president called on Havers Association to work with the ministry to improve modern livestock practices and adopt ranch-based grazing system. The National Senate has urged the federal government to review the country's firearm ownership law to law, abiding citizens the right to possess weapons for self-defense amid rising insecurity in various regions. The motion follows discussion on the escalating security issues, particularly in Kwara, Kebbi and Niger states, where attacks, adoption and killings have surged. According to the Senate, the current Firearms Act is strict, requiring a license from either the President or the Inspector General of Police. The Senate said reforms are necessary to allow citizens in threatened areas to protect themselves, noting that security forces often fail to respond promptly to attack. However, some experts and civil society groups expressed concern that relaxing gun laws could increase conflicts and put weapons into the hands of criminals. The Senate emphasized that this request does not immediately permit gun ownership. The law must undergo amendment, consultation with stakeholders, and a vote before any formal change. Still on the news, the National Senate has presented a bill classifying kidnapping as an act of terrorism, prescribing the death penalty for those found guilty of adoption. The bill was presented during Wednesday's Senate session under the new law. The Senate stated that once someone is convicted of kidnapping, the death penalty must be implemented. The Nigerian continues to face growing insecurity due to attacks by armed groups on villages, killings and kidnappings for ransom. Regarding recent kidnappings by armed groups, President Bola Ahmad Tinubu has ordered a complete lockdown of the forest in Kwara State. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has reduced its premium motor spirit pump prices from Dangote Refinery, and depot owners dropped ex-depot prices. Report gathered that today in Abuja, the state-owned firm has slashed its fuel prices to 930 naira per litre from 945 naira. The downward adjustment had been implemented in the NNPCL retail outlet in Kubwa Expressway, Gwarimfa, Wuse Zone 4 and Zone 6, and filling station within Abuja. This means that NNPCL reduced its fuel retail prices by 10 naira per litre. It was also observed that other Nigerian filling stations such as Rain Oil in Gwarimfa has reduced fuel pump prices by 5 naira to 935 naira per litre from 940 naira. Similarly, MRS and AP Adova filling stations in Abuja are currently dispensing their petroleum between 930 naira and 935 naira per litre. The Nigerian Defence Academy in Kaduna has announced the recruitment of new cadets for the 78 regular course. The training will start tomorrow, Friday, November 28, 2025, and continue until April 30, 2026. This announcement was contained in a statement from the Academy, stating that both male and female Nigerians meeting the requirement for joining the military are eligible. Applicants are instructed to visit the official application portal at www.ndaapplications.net. The Academy also wants applicants to meet all requirements and avoid falling victim to fraudsters. Since the Senate Committee investigating crude oil theft in the Niger Delta revealed the theft of nearly 300 billion naira worth of crude oil without depositing the funds into the federal government account. It has drawn national attention. The Senate Committee's report highlighted in the reports from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, and weakness in the management system that allowed misappropriation of Nigeria's crude oil revenues. The committee said investigations into crude oil and revenue collection show inconsistencies in sales records and failed to remit $22 billion into the federal government account. It further identified a funding gap of $81 billion between deposit certificates presented by NNPC and record held the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) for revenues collected from 2016 to 2017. The committee has subsequently urged the federal government to compel NNPC to comply with global crude oil transactions regulations, enhance monitoring of extraction sites, and deployed modern surveillance tools, including drones, to detect crude oil theft in real time. The Kaduna State Police Command has launched a manhunt for those who dumped 210 sacks of rice from a passenger bus on the Zaria-Funtua Road. Reports indicate that bystanders noticed the rice falling and alerted nearby security personnel. Kaduna Police spokesperson Mansur Hassan stated that all efforts to intercept the vehicle were hindered due to delay alert to patrol teams along the road. The statement said security authorities believe the suspect dumped the rice after noticing a potential hazard ahead due to increased police patrols and checkpoints on the road. The police have since launched a full-scale search for the suspects. The governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, described the death of prominent Islamic scholar Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi as a great loss to the community. The governor referred to the scholar as a leader of unity, peace and mutual understanding between Muslims and followers of other faiths in a condolence message signed by his special advisor on media, Mukhtar Gidadu. The governor said the Bauchi State government mourns the loss of the scholar. Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi passed away on the morning of Thursday, November 27, 2025 in Bauchi at the age of 102. The governor said Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi was a devout, humble and wise Islamic scholar who dedicated his life to spreading Islam, teaching the Quran and guiding people morally. The late scholar taught thousands of students who memorized the Quran and promoted Islam across Africa. The governor added that the scholar's contribution in tafsir, fiqh, and history played a crucial role in guiding society toward righteousness. He further stated that the Bauchi State government will continue to honor the late scholar by supporting schools and initiatives he established, particularly in Islamic education, moral guidance, and community development. He prayed for Allah's forgiveness for the decades, granted him Al-Jannatul Firdaus, and gave patience to his families, followers, and the Muslim communities. From the business news, the federal government of Nigeria has announced the need to recruit Nigerian youth to participate in a program aimed at improving primary health care nationwide. The program will involve youth from all 774 local government areas, supporting primary health centers, engaging in communities activities, and improving administrative system in the health sector. Applicants must be between 25 and 35 years old and hold a degree in health sciences or social sciences. For more news on the national economy, follow the report with Fatima Yunus Musa.
The African Development Bank AFDB has approved a 500 million loan for Nigeria to support the second phase of the country's economic governance reform program. The facility is aimed at strengthening the nation's energy sector and improving overall economic governance. According to the bank, the program will focus heavily on public financial management reforms, including strengthening government budgeting system, enhancing transparency in spending, and improving accountability across ministries and agencies. The Oyo State government has approved a 3 billion revitalization project to revive the state cocoa industry, which was once a leading source of income for farmers and a major contributor to Nigerians' agricultural exports. The project will be implemented through a public-private partnership, bringing together the state government and private companies to support farmers, expand production to improve value chain operations. According to officials, the program will operate under the supervision of the Oyo State Agricultural Development Agency, which will coordinate distribution of improved seedling, training for farmers, access to financing, and support for local processing facilities. Petroleum tanker workers across Nigeria have expressed support for newly launched health insurance scheme introduced by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The initiative aims to provide comprehensive health coverage for more than 7,000 tanker workers, many of whom work in high-risk environments and travel long distance across the country. According to NNPC, the scheme is designed to ensure that workers can access medical attention regardless of their location, especially those operating in remote areas far from major hospitals. Fatima Inusa Musa, reporting for Rahma Comprehensive News.
You are listening to Rahma Comprehensive News live from the news and current affairs of Rahma Radio 97.3 FM. The news will continue after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back, and the news will continue. Report from Guinea-Bissau indicate that former Nigerian President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is stranded in Bissau following a sudden military coup in the country. In a report posted on social media by one of Jonathan's aides, it was stated that less than an hour after the political crisis erupted, movements were restricted and security measures tightening, preventing Jonathan from living as planned. There is no report of injury or harm to him, and Guinea-Bissau authorities are working to restore peace. They urge the National Assembly to initiate the process of legalizing state policy to tackle the escalating wave of kidnappings and terrorist attacks across the country in the past week. But in a rare departure from the usual solidarity with the executive, several senators and House of Representatives members criticized the federal government for negotiating with bandits for the release of hostages seized in the separate attacks in Kwara and Kebbi State. The lawmakers demanded a halt to the negotiation with the terrorists and punishment for the officials who ordered the withdrawal of troops from the government girls' comprehensive secondary school, Maga, Kebbi State, where 24 students were kidnapped of November 2017. The bandits also stormed St. Mary's Catholic School, Papri, in Aguara local government area of Niger State, adopting over 300 pupils and 12 teachers just 4 days after 24 schoolgirls were taken from GGCSS. During the Kebbi attack, the vice principal Hassan Makuku was shot to death, while the principal was injured. About 50 girls later escaped, but the rest are still with their captors. The Ogun State government has validated and adopted a new infection prevention and control manual as part of its effort to improve patient safety, enhance healthcare workers' protection, and standardize infection control practices across all health facilities in the state. Speaking at a one-day validation and event in Abeokuta, the state capital, the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tommy Koka, according to his statement, described the manual as a significant milestone in the state commitment to strengthening healthcare delivery and safeguarding the well-being of residents. Koka said the document reflects the government's resolve to institutionalize evidence-based practices, noting that strong infection control systems are critical to preventing avoidable infections, ensuring uninterrupted healthcare services, and improving outbreak. The Commissioner also explained that the manual provides practical, step-by-step guidance for healthcare workers on standard precautions, environmental hygiene, waste management, safe injections practices, and surveillance of healthcare-associated infection. Women's Union led by the fearless Funmilayo Ransom Kuti intensified their historic protest against unfair colonial taxation. Thousands of women marched on the Alakes Palace in Abeokuta on 27 November 1947, demanding the abolition of the exploitative tax imposed on women traders. The movement forced major reforms and became one of the most powerful women-led resistances in Nigeria's colonial history. Our correspondent Fatima Yunusa Musa has more on historical events that occur on this similar day in history.
On this day in 1978, the city of San Francisco was rocked by Trangley Heavy Milk, one of the post-oftenly elected officials in the United States, and George Moscone, the city's mayor, were assassinated at City Hall. Their deaths shock, and Heavy Milk will become a lasting system of courage, civil rights, and the fight for equality. But history on 27th November also holds a moment of hope and human advance. In 2001, the Hubble Space Telescope detected the first atmosphere ever observed around a planet outside our solar system, the Explanet HDB, nicknamed Osiris. This discovery opened a new chapter in astronomy, expanding our horizontals well beyond Earth. Then in 2005, surgeons in France carried out the world's first ever facial paste transplant on Isabelle Danois, a groundbreaking medical achievement. I am Fatima Yunusa Musa, reporting for Rahma Comprehensive News.
From the foreign scene, Hamas has called on mediators to pressure Israel to allow its fighters trapped in underground tunnels in southern Gaza to exit safely, noting that this will impact the future of ongoing agreements. In a statement, the group said it has proposed some recommendations and approaches to resolve the situation, but accused Israel of non-cooperation. Israel media reported that Israel stated it will not kill the fighters if they surrender. Israel forces said they recently killed several Hamas fighters and detained others who were attempting to exit underground passages. The U.S. State Department has suspended review of visa application for Afghan nationals until further notice, following the shooting of 2 federal security officers in Washington. President Trump said the suspect is an Afghan who entered the U.S. in 2021. Thousands of Afghans who work with the United States were granted special protection to remain in the country after the U.S. withdrawal due to threats from the Taliban. In Hong Kong, firefighters are still battling a massive blaze in the high-rise building that started last Wednesday, killing 55 people. Many victims were hospitalized and approximately 300 remain missing. Police arrested 3 employees of a construction company for alleged manslaughter due to neglect that led to the fire. Before we end the news, here is the weather forecast report.
The tomorrow's possible weather forecast begins with Bauchi State, where the day will be hot and hazy at an average temperature of 34 to 36 degrees Celsius. Gombe State will have similar weather forecast of hot and dry weather condition at an average temperature of 35 to 37 degrees Celsius. Where Kano, the center of commerce, the sky will be hazy with the sunshine at an average temperature of 33 to 36 degrees Celsius. Moving to Sokoto State, where it will anticipate very hot and dry weather at an average temperature of 35 to 36 degrees Celsius. And Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, the weather is expected to be mostly sunny and warm at an average temperature of 20 to 33 degrees Celsius. In Zamfara State, around Gusau, the condition will be hot and hazy at 34 to 37 degrees Celsius. Moving to Ebonyi State, where the weather will be mostly cloudy, turning to partly sunny in the afternoon at an average temperature of 32 to 33 degrees Celsius. Ondo State is expected to be cloudy sky with the chances of late evening showers or thunderstorm at an average temperature of 29 to 31 degrees Celsius. And in the neighboring countries, Yaoundé in Cameroon, will anticipate warm, humid conditions at an average temperature of 27 to 28 degrees Celsius. Accra in Ghana, the conditions should be warm and stable with an average temperature of 30 to 31 degrees Celsius. And finally, Medina and Saudi Arabia, the forecast suggests dry, sunny weather with a daytime temperature around 29 to 32 degrees Celsius. Adam Abdullahi reporting.
To end the news, here is the recap of the headlines. You have heard that President Bola Ahmad Tinubu has called on herders across the country to stop orphan grazing and surrender all illegal weapons in their possession. You have also heard that Nigerian Defence Academy in Kaduna has announced the commencement of recruitment for new cadets in the 78th regular course. Governor of Bauchi State Bala Mohammed has confirmed the death of the prominent Islamic scholar Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi. From the foreign scene, you have also heard that Hamas has requested Israel to allow its Trump fighters in southern Gaza to exit safely. On behalf of the entire news team here at Rahma Radio 97.3 FM, especially the head of news department, Usaina Ambaindabawa, the news editor has been Tukur Esther, and the on-air personnel is Fatima Yunus Musa. I am Amina Umar Kafinta, saying thank you for listening and wishing you a peaceful